G7 warns Russia of massive consequences if Ukraine attacked.
Here's a summary of the article.
Register now for free unlimited access to Reuters. Liverpool, England, December 12. The Group of Seven warned Russia on Sunday of massive consequences and severe costs if President Vladimir Putin attacks Ukraine, according to a draft statement seen by Reuters. U.S. intelligence assesses that Russia could be planning a multi-front offensive on Ukraine as early as next year, involving up to 175,000 troops. Moscow says the expansion of NATO threatens Russia and has contravened assurances given to it as the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. Register now for free unlimited access to Reuters. At a meeting in the northern English city Liverpool, the G7 delegates said they were united in their condemnation of Russia's military build-up near Ukraine and they called on Moscow to de-escalate. Russia should be in no doubt that further military aggression against Ukraine would have massive consequences and severe cost, the draft statement said, confirmed by G7 sources. For Moscow, the growing NATO embrace of a neighboring former Soviet republic, and what it sees as the nightmare possibility of alliance missiles in Ukraine targeted against Russia, is a red line it will not allow to be crossed. In 2014, Russia seized the Black Sea peninsula of Crimea from Ukraine, prompting the West to slap sanctions on Russia. We call on Russia to de-escalate, pursue diplomatic channels and abide by its international commitments on transparency of military activities, the G7 said in the draft.
This post received a score of 17,000, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
If you remember that a good percentage of Reddit users are very young, under 18, this comment section suddenly makes a lot of sense. Especially people that think nukes are a real option.
Don't forget the trolls trying to reduce the signal-to-noise ratio in these threads with shit posts to push down informative comments so people never read them.
Call it like it is, propaganda, paid or non-paid.
Imagine being dumb enough to spend your time posting some propaganda for free.
If the last couple years have proven anything, it's that there are a lot of idiots out there that aren't much more advanced than our primate ancestors.
What should the EU and the US do?
Nothing but arm Ukraine. Ukraine said they want to fight for themselves. I watched the Ukrainian head of defense say it on CBS. He wants us to help modernize their military a little bit and provide weapons and artillery so they can defend themselves.
There should also be hard sanctions. Taper the oil, gas off to zero over the next 6 months. Hard borders. Gradually put the Iron Curtain back up. No trade. No financial exchange. No passenger traffic. No overflight either. Go back to routing around Russian territory. And any country that doesn't impose the same sanctions gets similarly sanctioned. No more theater. This will hurt the rest of the world too. But if it isn't really hurting all of Russia, you might as well not bother.
Greater than taper the oil, gas off to zero over the next 6 months. How does the EU go through this without bringing a collapse?
Carefully. Germany in particular needs to recognize its mistakes and adapt. It will hurt. Unfortunately, they've been screwing this up since the 1980s despite everyone knowing it was a stupid mistake. So it's going to hurt a lot. As it should. Are you talking about turning off nuclear?
I think he means cutting Western Europe from Russia natural gas supplies. Large portions of Europe are dependent on Russian gas. He's arguing to rip the Band-Aid and rid Europe of the dependence. I think.
Correct. Europe should never have allowed itself to become so dependent on Russian energy. And if there's a good time to be getting away from Russian hydrocarbons, it's now.
In winter, cut energy supplies. How is this a good time? This reminds me about Polish satirical comic from the time when Russia invaded Crimea. They're coming from the west. There's thousands of them, we stand no chance. Yes. This is the end. Vania, what's this? Expressions of indignation?
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.